Today I'm just going to be doing a quick video covering my list that I ran at Canto Bight Cup that happened this past weekend. It was a great event that happened out in kind of near Syracuse, New York at the casino out there, Turning Stone. It was ran by Chris and Dave. They did a great job. First time running a Legion event for them, and they absolutely killed it. Super cool guys. They were 3D printing for tables for months on end. They put a lot of time and effort into it. So really appreciative of both them and their staff. They gave out a ton of great prizes. Basically, almost everybody walked away with stuff. I'm pretty sure, just like constant flow of stuff. It was awesome. So thank you so much for running that. We had a great time. It's great to see everybody that I haven't seen in a while. So yeah, it was awesome. We had people from all over the place in the U.S. come into town. Ended up being, I believe, let's see, how many players in total? 50 players. Yeah, we did have 50. Okay, a couple drops, but yeah, in total we had 50 players. Great turnout for their first Legion event. They were super cool about changing some of the tables too. Like Legion's a different game than Warhammer 40K, which is what they were used to. So when we got there, some tables needed a little help. We added some things. We moved some things around. Definitely always room for improvement, especially on the table side. But it's much better than what we used to see at Gen Con and things like that. So awesome job to them. And also congratulations to John Bushman, who does a lot of work with the 5th Trooper as well as doing the ELO ratings. He's been a competitive player since the beginning of the game, and to come out with the win for him is great. I know he's had the monkey on his back coming in second place in a lot of these big events, so great job to him, and to do it with Yoda is awesome. So awesome job. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to play him. I haven't played against Yoda yet, and I haven't played with Yoda yet, so I have no idea what he does. I know he does a lot of shenanigans. I just haven't seen it on the table, unfortunately. So hopefully I can get a game against him sometime. That'd be great. So yeah, but we're going to take a look at the list now. This is a list that I've been running before, and I love the bounty hunters. They're my favorite pieces in the game, to be honest. Always have been kind of lean towards that Empire list building and army. And then you bring in Iden in there, and it's just this whole mix of like jackknife units that are like Swiss Army knives. They can do a lot of different things. They're not like amazing at just one thing, but they can get the job done, and there's different plays with them. And yeah, so it was really cool. This list definitely wanted to win with. Went in there trying to be the best Imperial player in the tournament. That was my goal, and ended up finishing 3rd place overall. So great time, good playing with this list, had a ton of fun. But yeah, so let's get into it. So starting off with the list, I just have Iden Versio. She just has either the repeater or in loadout the sniper rifle. Pretty basic. Not many upgrades on her. I just like to keep her kind of generic in that sense. Then moving on, Imperial officer in there with improvised orders. This guy's job is literally just follow around and babysit Bosk, hand him an aim every turn, and bring improvised orders. If I use improvised orders before he goes and then I pull his token, then I can just spotter to Bosk and refresh improv, so I have a second use on the turn. With this list, I really don't have great order control, as you'll see later with my command hand. I have 1 turn, maybe 2, where I have some okay order control, but the improvised orders was really big for me. Moving on, Boba Fett, classic jackknife. He does a lot of different things. He's not amazing at killing things, but when you need him to, you have that jetpack rocket. He can get in there and then clean up just lone unit leaders. That's what he's great at. As well as putting pressure on your opponent with the bounty keyword, obviously. And then, he can do many different objectives. if I happen to play like recover, he's great at getting the middle box, or even going and getting, putting pressure on some naked core. If that's what they're using, your opponent's using to get their supply box, he can go over there and just take them out super fast. Speed 3, jump 2. He can go basically anywhere he wants. Also, a key thing with bringing Boba Fett in this list, I put Seize the Initiative, which gives him orders on either turns that Bosk is going to be getting an order or where Iden might. And then as well as the offensive push. This is really key for hunting your bounties, especially if you bounty R2, because on that rocket turn, that jetpack rocket turn, 3 red and 2 black, while are pretty accurate, you have to make sure that that's going to hit. You got a one-shot R2 with that shot. So move, shoot, pick up and aim. You'll be good most of the time. Pierce 1, no cover. Should one-shot the little trash can right off the table, pick up the victory token. Moving down, I brought Bosk. That was the main point of the list. I wanted to bring both bounty hunters. I brought Hunter on him, just amazing for picking up more aims, which Bosk really needs to roll the slot machine and get those crits going. He really doesn't care about cover so much. He's just rolling for crits, right? He just stays in the back, shoots at range 4. He really does not want to be out there. He's only going to have an order on maybe like 2, maximum 3 turns. So again, we're bringing Seize the Initiative. Great card for only 5 points. Give those guys an order token when you really need it. Targeting scopes, it's self-explanatory. Just get the most out of your aims. If you're getting 2 aims per turn at least, that's going to be what, 12 extra dice over the course of it. So definitely worth the points there. Moving down to my core, obviously mandatory. I just took 2 naked shores, one with recon intel. I'll explain that a little later, but it helps getting done with objectives right away, and gets that mortar forward cohered better, in a better spot. Then after that, just got 2 naked mortars. I love the naked shoreline. It's really just about plink damage and suppressive. When you got 2 suppressive weapons and then you have Bosk as well who's suppressive, sometimes you can panic things. I had multiple times in different games where I was panicking units off the table. Usually we don't think about that. That's kind of like a lost thing in Legion. This list can do it still. With that Reptilian Rampage turn where he shoots twice, you got mortars shooting twice, you can put 6 to 8 suppression on something in a matter of like two activations pretty much. So it can easily panic things off the table, or even key, suppress down enemy heroes, things like that. So again, blink damage, great against armor, critical keyword, still really good. And for those last minute rushes to an intercept or KP, they do have courage 2, and they're not as slow as people think because their base is bigger, so they're pretty good. Again, awesome for their points. I think the naked shoreline is the way to go if you're going for more than 3 core. Otherwise, with 3, I would take 3 storms, but in this case we got 4. Going down, I have enough points somehow. This list is, when I built it at first, I was like, oh, you can fit everything now, because it used to be that I would have to take like some snipers, but with the points drops on a couple of things, it made up for some rooms. So here we go. We got the special forces, obviously, with their heavy weapon. They're really just looking to put out some damage on the attack strike turn, bring offensive push. Usually I would use it right away. Very rarely did I ever hold their offensive pushback. I would usually put them in a spot where they wouldn't be able to get shot, but where they would, come out, double move, and shoot everything into them. After that, they just kind of like were there. They became just a regular like aim shoot unit, and they're kind of hard to kill still when they're in heavy cover. Reliable 1, courage 2. They're decent. They weren't amazing. but they do their job. And then moving down, I did bring Inferno Squad. I think they're actually quite good now with the points drop. You can see the difference. They're only 92 points with the offensive push versus 99 for the ISF. They also bring an extra Pierce and the retinue with Iden. They're always starting with an aim usually, or if sometimes they're in danger, I would take a dodge, but usually an aim. So that allowed them to bring, usually save their offensive push for a different round than tack strike, but yeah, usually I'd save it. And they're also Courage 3 with this guy, Gideon. So pretty difficult to take them down with suppression. And then also, key thing with these guys is with this recon intel, I pushed the shores forward, maybe sometimes forward here if I really had to, but rarely did that happen. But they have Coordinate Trooper, so I could give the tack strike order to Inferno, and then therefore shores would get in order, and therefore mortar would get in order. So it helped with order control on that turn, especially. First turn is key for this list. You really have to execute it very well and prioritize your targets effectively. If you're not shooting at the right things, you know, that one turn is so big, you have to make sure that you're shooting at the right targets. Typically, I'm trying to take out units off the table. Once I can get up on activations with this list, it becomes even nastier, because then you force your opponent to go early with their heroes, and then they're risking bounties, which over the course of the 6 games, I got bounties in 4 of them. So pretty good. So going into the command hand, I don't think there's much of a debate here to be had. So this is what I landed on. Obviously standing orders. For my 3 pips, Boba Rocket, I'm taking this all day over line and weight. Line and weight is too easy to avoid, number 1. Number 2, boss can still get an aim or 2 on just a regular turn anyways, as is. So line and weight, picking up like 5+ aims sometimes isn't even worth it. And then Jetpack Rocket is great for Boba to, number 1, be mobile and shoot something, clear it off the table, get that bounty, helps him out a lot. It also brings impact, so taking out armor with that is very key. Tack Strike, obviously, I mean, you're not going to not bring this card with Iden, so it's great. Reptilian Rampage, boss best card by far. Lets him do double tap. I got at least two bounties with this card. I did play against Rebels 3 times over the course, and he took out Han and Lando maybe, and then he took out a Chewie and another Han. So he did some work against those white save units. Great card. Again, he can put out force suppression on things. Just a lot of stuff with that card. He can also triple move if there's an objective. Never did that, but that was always in the back of my head if I had to do it. Push I brought because, number 1, I don't like Boba Fett's flamethrower. Just honestly don't like it. I don't want Boba Fett anywhere near the army. You know, range 1 of anything means that he's going to get shot by everything else. So, you know, Boba Fett can just die to a stiff breeze if you don't roll your saves, right? While he does have the 4-up, right, or 3-up, excuse me, it's, you know, it's not totally reliable. Only 5 health. So push gave me better order control with a 2-pip. Gonna bring it. Whipcord Launcher. Honestly, this is a great card still. Key for keeping at those melee units and force users at bay. This list is susceptible to melee units and force users. You really don't. I mean, without force push, you really got to kill them before they get into your lines. This is a last ditch effort to kind of try and, you know, keep them at bay or tie them down for a turn, but it's not amazing. And then I did bring Pulse Scan just because it gives Iden a chance to do a lot of damage. and then as well as get the standby token, which is great for keeping melee units at bay as well. If she goes first with the sharpshooter 2, picks up a name, maybe does quick thinking as well, shoots something, and then gets a standby, now they can't, she's got a range 2 bubble around her essentially, and if they step into it, she gets another shot. So it helps out versus melee units. Not amazing. Another thing that you could do with it, if you do bring the sniper rifle, you could just pick off different things across the table, right? With Iden, so moving on to the battle plans of the deck, I was with my 3-point bid. Where is that total? Oh, sorry, it's down here in the corner, bottom right corner. 3-point bid. That's why I didn't take a second recon intel. Someone was asking me about that earlier in the Discord. Looking at past events, 3-point bid will get me the blue player, or the option to pick between blue and red, and 5 out of 6 games that worked out. So a takeaway from that, though, the one game I did lose, I was red player. So what does that say? I don't know. Recover. I got Boba. I got the bounties. Easy enough. I think with the bounty tokens, you get that extra chance for more victory points, and usually it's either tied 2-2 or someone has the middle box and it's 3-2. So the bounty token can swing it back in your favor. Also, I have infiltration units. I can put pressure on their boxes. I can just surround the middle. I can put Iden right away on the middle box and just pick it up, run. I got Boba Fett. He can just double move, get in there, pick it up, go. So amazing for my list, to be honest. And then the Naked Shores, just pick up mine. My opponent will be too worried about dealing with all my other threats to even come close to usually getting my shores. KP, I chose on KP just because, again, usually it's either 2-1 or 1-1 and you tie the middle. So again, the bounty token is going to come into play. If you score a bounty, which is how I actually won my last game, I scored a bounty against Krennic for a tie 2-2, and then I won on kill points. That's kind of the idea again with this. Low scoring, so bounty is going to be very big. With 2 bounty hunters in your list, you have such a better chance of getting the bounty than you do with just one. Most lists that you are going to play against are only going to have 1 to 2 heroes, maybe 3, but the third one is usually one that you're not even going to worry about, or bounty. So with 2, they're just automatically applied. Either of the bounty hunters can pick it up from either target, so it's really good. It's much better than just having 1. So yeah, moving on. Intercept. My whole list is troopers against armor. I just focused on their troopers and try and just win on the unit leaders alive at the end of the game. That's how I won my first game, actually. He was playing a Han, Chewie. There's a couple of vets, 2 snipers, and 2 airspeeders. Ignored the airspeeders. They did come in and almost table me, but I was able to just focus down all of his trooper units, and at the end of the game I had just 3 models left, but he only had a strike team, so I was able to win with that. Moving down to Sabotage. Still great for blue player. I never played this. Everybody pushes it away, which I'm fine with, because I'm a little worried with playing against a force user, honestly, that they might be able to just last turn move into my map, tap it, and it's game. So that's okay, but usually, again, this either comes down to kill points because it's tied 4-4, so that bounty might come into play again. Low scoring game, so those extra VPs that you could potentially get are huge. Moving on to my deployments, it's still the absolute pain of my existence that R2 exists, because it forces me with every list that I build that I have to bring these 4. Sadly, I thought about bringing Disarray because it is really good for Boba Fett, infiltration units, things like that, but it's too risky for my list. If I run into an R2 and they just deploy him up here and he just scores an easier victory point, couldn't risk it. So major offensive, long march, rollout, advanced. I like rollout the best, to be honest with you. From this corner position, boss can easily move shoot in the beginning as well. There's still a lot of like infiltration spots, so you can get on flanks and things like that. Long march is okay. Advance is good. Recon with your infiltration units. Major offensive might be the worst. I'm not so sure. With long march, you still have Bosk is essentially a sniper. Iden can go into sniper mode. You have Dell, who's considered a sniper. So you have a couple of long range things as well as the mortars. So that's pretty good. Then moving down, minefield. I got red saved units. When you're playing against white save units or armor, boom, here's an extra damage for you. Hostile environment. I have a couple suppressive keywords. Everything is at least Courage 2 that I care about. My shores really don't care about. They're just going to be sitting in the back, tap an evaporator or something. They only need one action, really. So that's why I brought that. Clear conditions, just an easy one. And then supply drop, amazing for infiltration units. You can put in a spot where you know that you're going to infiltrate. They start right next to it. Boom. As soon as they activate, search the box, get something good, carry on. So, also with this, it's a little cheeky, but you can block places for armor to go because they are not allowed to land on condition tokens. So there's that. So yeah, I think pretty self-explanatory in the battle card and command hand. I don't think there was much of a choice. In the battle plans, I thought about breakthrough, but honestly, no. So, in the end of the day, I went 5-1. First game was really close. I played intercept against like I said, Han Chewy, gun line, and 2 airspeeders. Just focused on the core and the heroes, and was able to basically take out all of his trooper units besides one sniper strike team. His airspeeders were basically still full health, but it didn't matter at that point because I had 3 unit leaders still alive to win the game. Second game, I played against an ATST list, and just with that tac strike and all the critical, I was able to just wipe out an ATST. First activation of turn 2, it was dead. So that game went pretty well. Third game, I actually got paired against my father, and I knew against his list going into it, I didn't have quite enough dice to chew through. He was playing triple Wookiee, Luke, and the boss. I just didn't have quite enough dice to get through. I also made a critical error in turn 0. I put my KP off to like the corner when I should have put it more central to the middle one. He ended up taking over mine. At the end, the last turn, had a last ditch effort to get a bounty token on Luke. I still had like Bosk, I still had Boba with his rocket, and I still had like Inferno and like a shore unit to shoot into him. And I think he only had like 4 health left. So it was pretty close. He ended up saving out. So, but yeah, just that turn 0 placement of my KP really what broke it for me. But great game. He finally got the monkey off his back. He hasn't beat me in a actual tournament match our entire Legion career. So I'm happy for him. He did a great job. But yeah, tough loss there. Day 2, I played against first round. I played against another Rebel list. It was like a Han, Lando, gunline / like there was an airspeeder in there and Taun. Ended up playing Recover, and I was able to bounty Han. So it kind of after that it was basically over. Then the second game after that, on day 2, I played against. I played against a Maul list, and that was very interesting. We played Recover. He actually deployed his Maul in my deployment zone, and I had to deploy everything way far away from my supplies. But what happened was I was able to put a lot of pressure towards the rest of his army. I actually turned one second activation to wipe the full Magna Guard unit off the table with the tack strike from the ISF, followed by the Inferno squad. So that was pretty huge. And then I put pressure on one of his boxes, and Iden ended up going and picking it up. And then Maul eventually died. So yeah, that was a great game. And then my last game was actually against this really interesting Vader dewback list. It wasn't the typical one. It did have Krennic in it though, but it had the Gav tank, and I was very surprised by how threatening it was. Once Vader got in there, there was nothing I could do. I got him up to 7 wounds. That last one I maybe could have gotten on the last turn, but we ended up calling it once I got the bounty on Krennic, and then realized that the kill points were in my favor and there wasn't anything else he could kill. Overall though, all my opponents were excellent. Really great time with everybody. No issues, super fun. I was glad that I got to go out there and play. Getting 6 games of Legion in over two days is awesome. Looking back on the tournament, I'm like, just had a lot of fun, and looking forward to being at Adepticon next month. So, yeah, it was awesome. I'm trying to think if there was anything else to go over. No, I think Empire's in a really good spot, to be honest. They have a lot of options. This list is fun. It's competitive. I don't think it's like S tier or whatever they call it. Like, it's not the top dog, but it's really good. So I think you can make it better by just dropping Bosk and the officer, bringing another special forces unit, bringing another shore mortar, pump it up to 11x. That's amazing. If you wanted to keep this threat, maybe you could drop the ISF and add in 2 sniper strike teams, crank it up to 11 activations. I worry that drops your dice pool down though, and you can't deal with droids and melee skews at that point, however. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully give you some insight in this list. I know I was getting a lot of questions on it today, so I figured I would do a quick video on it. Hopefully I didn't last too long, but yeah, consider subscribing. Maybe I'll start doing more videos again. Who knows? We'll see. Motivation for these things takes a lot of work. So anyway, thanks for watching.